Welcome to Talk Ottumwa, a production of Greater Ottumwa Partners in Progress. On this podcast, we'll talk about the local businesses in Ottumwa to give you the backstory to their success. We'll also talk about the economic initiatives that are driving the progress of the community. And we'll talk about the issues that the community faces and much more. So stick around and let's talk Ottumwa. Welcome to Talk Ottumwa, and today we have in the studio with us entrepreneur extraordinaire, Mr. Dusty Ware, who owns Warehouse BBQ here in Ottumwa, Floor to Ceiling, and the Iowa BBQ Store. So he has a big portion of the north end of town, and we're really excited to have him here. Welcome in, Dusty.
Hey, appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for having me.
So everybody loves your cooking, so we're happy to have you in town here. You have a pretty good history in the city of Ottumwa. You're an Ottumwa native, correct?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
I was born and raised here, and my dad was too. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't really have a chance to go anywhere else. Did some college and came back and started working for him. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell us just a little bit about how you got going in all of these business ventures.
So I'll try to be quick on the preface of this. I was actually going to school to be a teacher, and I had the opportunity to I had to student teach or I could buy a house, and I thought that, well, I'm not going to get paid to student teach, so that told me I probably didn't want to be a teacher that bad, more for the summers off. So I went to work for my folks at Floor to Ceiling Store, started in the warehouse at 21 years old, and learned to like it, and saw the there's always pros and cons to everything, and one nice thing I liked about, my dad's ability to, if he just wanted to leave in an afternoon and get away, he could do that. Now, that might mean for the next 4 weeks he was there from morning to close, so be it, but to have that freedom and kind of be in control. So I quickly saw that and enjoyed, just working for him and turn it into working for myself and, try to improve the business that they built. And be able to offer, continue to offer a service with, improved things for the city of Ottumwa and the surrounding area that we cover.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the barbecue and the flooring, it seems like they're so polar opposite, but
that it does.
But at the end of the day, when you're going into, Mrs. Johnson's bathroom and gutting that and giving her the bathroom of her dreams and then for Mr. Johnson, you're giving him a rack of ribs, and you're creating something for those people that they enjoy. They get us, so they are similar in that regard. So it's nice to be able to, that's kind of my connection between the two. And people ask, how do you get into two totally different things? But it's that you're creating something for somebody and they enjoy it.
So you do make a fine rack of ribs, and one of my personal favorites is your smoked tenderloin.
Yeah. Yep.
I have to ask, where did you learn to barbecue to begin with?
So my stint, I did a stint at William Penn, and was introduced to just I'm gonna say a different culture. There was. Where I lived, there was guys from Georgia and Alabama, and all they did was barbecue. And their families would come up during homecoming, and dads would take over the grill and they would barbecue. And I want to do this. I want to make this at home, make this for my friends, and that kind of got me into the outdoor cooking. And then once I got into that, it was okay. Now I got to do competitions. So then I started doing those. Then it was friends eating your barbecue. God, this stuff's great. You should do catering. And it kind of, that's sort of the trajectory, how that all started. Just so college, eating your neighbor's barbecue, thinking this is like something I've never had, because Ottumwa at the time just didn't have any barbecue. BBQ's was the first barbecue in Ottumwa. Mm-hmm. And great barbecue, but for years we didn't have anything. So
right. It
was like I said, a little bit of a culture shock to get that. Yeah. So I thought, man, I got to find a way to do this.
Now, you mentioned some competitions. How did you do in those competitions?
We fared out okay when I started in 2008 and I did it for a few years, and I mean, we had a little bit of success. I mean, it was, this was before the days of YouTube and all that, so you didn't really know what you were doing. You're kind of going in blind, and at that time, about 2011, that's when I started, really having an increased role at Floor to Ceiling. So I kind of had to back burner those because those are Friday and Saturday deals, and that was something I learned real quick, is you don't get all of those off when you work retail. So, since we've jumped back in, and I've got a really good staff at Floor to Ceiling, and I work all winter to take some weekends off in the nice weather, and we've had some success here the last couple of years competing. I mean, we just went to a contest a couple weeks ago, and we took first place in the port category out of 30 some odd teams. And, so everybody's there, and there are a lot of good teams. So, yeah, it's always nice to hear your name. Now, of course, it's like any hobby, hunting, golf, race cars. I mean, you spend way more than you make. It's just a good way to, keep honing your skills, make sure you're just always just staying on top of your game. You don't want to get too complacent. I mean, and I know that sounds like it's just food, but it's not. It's my livelihood. It's my employees. So I've got employees that rely on that, and so we're just always, when I'm out, I like to know what are people liking, what are people not liking, and I try to take a little bit of that back. So, when you talk about like the tenderloin, it's okay. How do we take something that's popular in Iowa, but put our own spin on it? And we incorporate a little bit of smoke before we bread it and fry it. So not science by any means, not super hard, but just something different. And you just kind of, being at those contests, open your eyes, because there's so many creative cooks out there. Like they're artists.
Yeah, absolutely. So when was it you officially opened Warehouse BBQ?
So the food, December 1st of 2018. That's when that was the opening night of our brick and mortar, and we did that. That was a Saturday, if I remember right. And a funny quick story, when we got our liquor license, I signed up for the Sunday liquor license because we said we're going to be open 7 days a week. We got our butts handed to us, and that was on a Saturday night. I said, we're not opening tomorrow. we have not been open a Sunday ever, but that was one of those that I wasn't going to do it, so I'm not gonna ask my staff to do that either.
Sure.
But December 1st, 2018, Saturday night. Remember it like it was yesterday, and it's been good since. I mean, got through COVID, and I think if a restaurant can get through that, knock on wood, hope we can get through about anything.
Absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but during COVID, you were one of the first people in town to offer delivery service.
Yeah. So May of 2019, we were, again, I'm talking about a conversation we had earlier about the younger generation of workers, what they bring to the table. And I had a kid that was kind of running the place for me. He was 20, and, that sounds crazy. I mean, he wasn't running all aspects, but, the social media part of the business, and just a good kid, said, dude, we need an app, just because the phone was ringing off the hook for, carry out. So he's like, let's simplify this. And so let's do it. So May of 19, we had an app developed that you could do carry out and delivery, which, again, we think we market pretty good. So we did some really cool promo videos to let people know that we do that. And, we saw the downloads. I mean, going through the roof. Our orders were coming through like crazy. And this is all before COVID. So I think that put us in a really good place when COVID hit, because we had a system in place for this, and we already had our customer base used to using the app, for that. So I think it did, give us a leg up on that when everyone else was trying to figure, how the heck do you do this? Because it is challenging, and it's not easy to get the whole app thing made either. So, it luckily did it at the right time. But, yeah, that's what got us through that and powered through it.
Yeah, and I'm assuming did you see a significant revenue impact because of COVID with having that model in place already?
Yeah, we were down. I mean, I wanted to open back up. The business part of me said I shouldn't want to. Our sales were up about 15%. My labor was down about 20%.
Oh, wow.
But that's not what barbecue is. If you don't have people, then there's no barbecue. And I mean, I'm a nerd like that, but that's what to me it's about, is people getting together and sharing that meal and creating an experience. So it just, to me, it just didn't, I lost interest during COVID. I was there working all the time, but I'm like, this is just not what I signed up for. And I know no restaurant owner did, but even with the increased revenue and the decreased labor, it still was just like, I want to be open. I want people to be able to, if I have to make less money, that's okay, because that's what barbecue is to me.
So speaking of barbecue,
yeah,
you've kind of created a little bit of a revolution in the community of people wanting to learn how to barbecue like you have. So you've opened a store called the Iowa BBQ Store as well. Yeah,
my partner at Floor to Ceiling, Sam Heinrichs, he was dabbling in barbecue a little bit before we became business partners, and then once we did, he kind of had to. I mean, he knew what he was hitching his wagon to. So he really, took an interest in barbecuing and really liking it. And he was a competitive guy, good high school athlete here in Ottumwa. So, for him to be able to find a way to still compete, I think kind of barbecue is his, he helped work competition together. But we had some space in our floor to ceiling room that was dedicated to wallpaper, and that, at the time that's died. It's kind of cycling back, but we had about 1,500 square feet that was just sort of dead space. So we thought, hey, let's, we have a lot of women that come into our store, and, they could look at stuff for hours. And, they bring their significant others in, and they kind of look like they just don't want to be there. So, hey, let's have a store. Here's an outlet for, if the husband comes in and wants to look at stuff, it's a lot easier for maybe mom to get a new kitchen if dad can get a new grill. So it's been a nice play on each other. Now, with that being said, if we were in a standalone building, I mean, our doors would be closed. It's kind of a hobby store for us. But we're happy that we have a spot, because there are a lot of great cooks. Eldon area in particular has a ton of barbecue guys. I would say we probably have as many Eldon folks shopping at our store as we do at Ottumwa and that. So that's always nice to see those faces come in. But we've barbecue's a niche market, and we have seen people. We've sold grills to guys in Dubuque that have driven down, because they're barbecue nerds like us. So they don't want to go. They go to an Ace Hardware and buy a grill, but they don't want to be in a hardware store. They want to be surrounded by everything that's barbecue. So that's kind of cool to get people traveling in, and kind of a destination store. And then, of course, I try to talk them into going eating across the street.
Sure.
If they don't, they'll go eat somewhere else. But again, they're supporting Ottumwa, so that's great.
Yeah. So what is your top selling product there at the Iowa BBQ Store?
Boy, that's a loaded question. Probably pellets, as boring as that is, just for the grills. The people that have the pellet grills, we sell a ton of pellets. The Warehouse BBQ sauces sell really well there. Blues Hog, Meat Church, a lot of the brands that I would say dominate like the Instagram space. Guys that are doing that real well. Those sales seem to transfer over to our store. They just know how to get in front of people and come up with some really cool content, and we eat with our eyes. So if it looks good, it's going to taste good, and those guys do a really good job of that.
And what are they cooking on when they're buying at your store?
We've got guys that come in and they're cooking on Traegers. They're cooking on drums that look like they just look like trash cans, 55-gallon trash cans. They're priced out like new cars, though. I mean, we've got charcoal grill guys. You get a little bit of everybody. That's what's cool about barbecue. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, whether it's gas, pellet, charcoal, wood. indirect, direct, you can use the same ingredients, same sauce, but it's always going to taste different.
Right.
If you and I use this, even if we use the same cooker, the same stuff, it's just going to taste different. So it's something different every time. But you just never know quite what somebody's going to cook. What they're cooking on when they come in, and luckily I've been around it long enough. I kind of have an idea as to how to. Anybody that comes in with an odd question, I'm usually the guy that they'll call in. We've got some employees out there that are really good, but there's some stumpers, and they usually call me in to answer those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was out at your at Warehouse BBQ eating about a week ago, and
okay.
You had a nice little addition that you've been working on right outside the building. Would you mind talking about that for just a minute? Yeah,
we felt so our service style. You come in, we don't have waitresses or waiters, so it's we've always had a challenge with reservations, and we didn't want to take them because of our service style. So I thought, how can we get a private room or something to where if somebody wants to make a reservation for 10 people, or a business wants to do a luncheon for 25 people, I looked at how we can make an addition that was climate controlled and enclosed, and we just couldn't do it. And then COVID happened, and we found that dining outside was more popular. People were, that the slogan was stay in, cook out. Mm-hmm. So at the BBQ store, we sold a lot of grills. People were eating outside, so we thought, people are creatures of habit. Let's try to kill two birds with one stone here. So we did the patio. That was the only. Going out that way was the only way we could go, and that's going to gain us about 60 more seats, 6 to 7 months a year, hopefully, and give us the opportunity that, hey, if someone, we had last weekend, actually, we had a birthday party for 40 people. We said, we can put you on the patio, but the weather is going to be whatever it is, and they said, we don't care, we'll take it, so we had, we were able to take 40 people that drove down from Oskaloosa. And they had barbecue and they had some cocktails and had a good time. And, that's something that prior to having that, we would have had to say, sorry, we can't do it. So it was something we needed. And I think there's some excitement around. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They're excited for it. We're hoping to get, I think May 21st, we're doing a brunch, and if I can get the schedule correct, a local guy, John Anderson, he's played some guitar for us out there.
I know John well.
I call him John Mayer Anderson. But I think him and I are trying to connect to maybe where he's going to come out and do a little guitar playing on the patio that afternoon. So
Great.
Yes, we need some good weather, but we're going to try and do some fun things with that patio. I think we're going to start and do like a cornhole league, bags, whatever people call them, just something to get seems like that stuff takes off in the big cities, your smash parks and all that. And while we can't do that, we certainly can try and find something to do amusing for, people, rather than just sit there and have a beer. You can get up, maybe be active while you're drinking a beer.
There you go.
Better.
And, with that outdoor patio, you actually become one of the very select few businesses, restaurants in Ottumwa anyway, that actually have access to an outside dining area.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome addition for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It took us a while to get there, to really figure out how we're going to do this and how it's going to look and how it's going to jive with the existing building. But, they did a phenomenal job on tying it all together. So we're tickled to death. Like I said, we just need this weather to cooperate and kind of get off the ground so I can get, I've got staff that's biting at the bullet to want to work outside and that, but, need weather to cooperate and get some people out there to get some good practice in.
You've mentioned a couple of times your employees,
mm-hmm.
and prior to us starting recording, you had talked about how much you value your employees. How many employees do you actually have?
So I've got, at the barbecue or warehouse, I've got 31 employees. And then floor to ceiling, Sam and I have 5 employees there, including ourselves. No, we have 7 because the barbecue store's in there too. So, yeah, I've a lot of them and had a lot of them come and go over the years at the barbecue restaurant. But, yeah, they're if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't exist, right? So, that's the mentality that I have every day. That we're all gonna screw up. I screw up. I probably screw up more than they do. But you learn from it, and you just there's bigger things to worry about sometimes than a sandwich coming out wrong.
Absolutely.
Someone will eat it. The guy in the kitchen who's been working his butt off, eat it, when you got time. So yeah, great staff.
Good.
Great staff.
Good. So, for everybody listening, Dusty is not only, one of the better business owners here in town. He's if you go out to Warehouse BBQ and you look up on the wall right above the door, you'll see a lot of checks hanging out on the wall, and that's one of the beauties of having somebody that's one of your hometown people that is taking the initiative to be a business owner in a community. They tend to be fairly philanthropic, and I think that you've proven that in spades. And Heartland Humane Society is obviously the recipient of a lot of your dollars. Can you talk about that for just a second?
Yeah, I grew up in a home that always had dogs. We always had pets, and I just have a soft spot for animals, whether they're pets or the zoo, whatever it may be. I enjoy animals. And it's, if I ever hit the big one, I want to have just some sanctuary for animals, because there's a lot of them. You go out to Heartland, I have a hard time going out there because, like the conversation we had before we started recording, that Shay said, I want to go out there and adopt all of them. And for me, I have a hard time going out there because I just start thinking the same thing. So, I'm not going to come out and walk the dogs, but I'm going to try to help you this way, and monetary, and you guys find the people to walk the dogs. So the volunteers out there are really great. Shelly Harvey, someone that, she's awesome. The amount of time that she puts in out there and what she does for those animals is incredible. And there's others out there too. That's who I talk to the most. But I love what they're doing out there. I know when the 100 Men on a Mission, when that was still going on, I know that they gave some money too, and that was awesome to be part of that and help them put up that new large dog facility that was climate controlled. But yeah, I probably like animals more than people. So it's easy for me to want to give.
There's several people like that.
I think when you work with people, not with, but, I work with the public, and, there's going to be one or two a day that sometimes make you scratch your head. So dogs and cats don't do that. They don't talk back. They don't ask you for anything. They're always happy to see you. So it's an easy give for me, for them. And, we ask people to get involved when they come out to our restaurant. If they take a picture of your food and post it on social media and tag Heartland and hashtag it, Pics for Paws, we give, a dollar amount for each one of those pictures. And, that's something we will do until we don't exist. We are excited to announce that, we did a golf outing for Heartland Humane a few years ago, and then COVID happened. We are bringing that back this fall, October 8th. We'll be doing a fundraising golf outing for Heartland Humane, and the first year we did it, we were able to give about $5,800 to Heartland Humane.
Great.
And it's a great time. There's a lot of great golf outings, a lot of good organizations that put on golf outings. I'm a golfer, not as good as I once was, but I said, let's just strip this thing down and make it simple. Here's the cost. We're not doing the goodie bags or any of that, because that needs to go to them. So we had a really good response the first year. And when teams sign up, we do the awards and a whole hog and your first drinks on Warehouse. So that's all included. We donate the dinner, and just a great experience. So we're excited to have it back this fall, and to be able to have it outside. Hopefully, weather permitting, we can be on that patio, and then that'll allow Heartland to bring some dogs out, hopefully. And, maybe there'll be a couple people that maybe just drank a little too much and might adopt some dogs, and those dogs can go to a home. So
there you go.
But since we were on the topic of Heartland, I figured I'd drop that and
how
a little promotion on the golf outing.
Yeah. So since we're on that topic, how does somebody sign up for that team?
Yeah. So you can. We've got some flyers circulating on social media right now. I just ordered some physical ones, so my wife will be getting those handed out to some local hot spots when we get them. But right now, someone could go to our website, www.warehousebbq.com, click on the events tab. They're going to see Pars for Paul's golf outing, and you can register a team, a foursome. There's three things. You can do a foursome, which foursome with cart is $500. You can do if a business or an individual just wants to do a whole sponsor, that's $100. If you want to do both, a business wants to do a sponsor, a whole and a foursome, you can say $50 and it's $550. And that's an increase of $100 a team from what it was 2 years ago. But, like everything, the cost of the golf went up a little bit. So we want to give more money back to Heartland. So we're hoping this year we can give them $10,000, and we'll have Brian Morgan behind the hog cooker out at Warehouse.
He needs to be working.
He doesn't need to golf. The guy, he needs to put some hours in. So him and I, we're real close, and we enjoy cooking together. But I have to sleep. I just do. Brian can just stay up all night and look at that hog cooker, and so he's kind of the guy that. Well, I'll be out golfing, I have to, but he'll be there at night and the next day making sure that hog's ready to go for everybody when we get done golfing. So, and it's always nice to have him do that, donate his efforts for that. So we're excited about it, and we hope people. We've already had 3 teams sign up, and we just announced it yesterday. So we'll probably cap it at 22. Just again, we want it to play fast, Last thing we want is people just sitting there like, just waiting. So yeah.
So what's the future look like for you, Dusty?
I should just be taking it easy, but I don't know. I kind of get, and I'm going to name drop Brian again. We sit and we talk about ideas, and we're not short of them. We're short of time. And while I have incredible employees, it is challenging to get people right now. Mm-hmm. A lot of the employees I have that have been with me for a while, but to get new ones, it's tough. But, we've had, I think this town, Ottumwa, has a lot of really good things. I remember, 7, 8 years ago, a pizza place would open up, and everybody, all the boo birds would come out and say, gosh, just what this town needs, another pizza place. And now there's not a lot of pizza places. You've got your Happy Joe's and Mike's Pizza, and then your Pizza Hut. And if I'm forgetting any, I apologize. But this town, I'd love to see like a wood fire pizza concept. And we looked at a building on the north side, and we thought it was going to be really good. And the north side needs some ice cream too. So we kind of thought a fire and ice concept would be cool, but the wife talked me out of that and said, I think you've got enough on your plate, and she was probably right. So the mind's always going, but I'm sure there'll be something here in the near future. I know I'm looking at doing some expansion for Warehouse and doing that in some other spots in Iowa. So may be able to announce something like that here in a month or so, but I got to kind of wait on some other things to finalize that. So yeah, keep them busy.
Okay. Well, last question that I have for you. What's your best selling meal out at Warehouse?
I think the 2 meat combo, 2 meat platter, that is, we've got a 2, a 3, a 4, a diet starts Monday, which is everything, but the 2 meat platter, 2 meats, 2 sides, Texas toast, that's our wheelhouse.
Okay.
And realistically that can feed 2 people, or one of me. But yeah, you've eaten there.
Oh, yeah.
Portions are there, so.
It's that 2-meat combo is one for me also.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, Dusty, for coming in today. And everybody, when you get hungry, think of Warehouse BBQ. And if you need a new grill, Iowa BBQ Store is there for you. And heck, while you're at it, grab yourself some new flooring at floor to ceiling.
A little bit of everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
thanks for having me, Mark.
Hey, not a problem. And stay tuned, everybody, for the next edition of Talk Ottumwa.